Okay. So, yeah, today we do a little bit of a further delve into the in-depth of the signs. In fact, we haven't introduced the signs yet, so that's what we are going to do today. And we will also have a look at the 33 core devtas. Is there a problem? No? Because I can't find the, if somebody has to say something, I can't access the chat, so they would have to just speak up. So anyway, so let's begin. One sec. Okay, so one of the key things when we talk about also planets is the substances that make up every aspect of our being. We've already dealt with the five great elements earlier in the past few sessions. So the seventh dhatu is nothing but like substances or minerals, literally it means. And the substances that make up every aspect of our being is mapped to the 7 weekday planets. And so the bones is signified by the sun. The moon signifies the blood. Mars is Maja, which is marrow, the bone marrow, which is like nerves. So any issues with in terms of like nervous disorders and all, there may be a possibility that you have Mars afflicted. Mercury is to do with the outermost layer, the skin. Jupiter is all about fat, and I think you will find that often people who have very strong Jupiter, like Jupiter in Lagna on the ascendant, they will have a tendency to put on weight. Then we have Shukra, which is to do with Ojas, which is all about the sperm and things like that. Bear in mind, it's for both sexes. Shukra is indicative of like children, and basically not so much children, but the thing that creates the reproduction. So sperm and ova and all that is very strong if you have a very strong Shukra or Venus. And then its Saturn is all to do with muscles and muscular tensions and muscles surround the flesh surrounding the muscles. So that is a big aspect of Saturn. Okay, so far so good. Then we come to the gemstones and a little bit of planet significations, which we are going to, next few slides will be all about the planet significations and where they reside and what they rule and things like that. So for example, sun is Surya, which is denoted as one of the signifiers of the father is the sun. And there is the soul, as we saw earlier, past sessions, that sun is also our soul. And so it is to do with power, especially like governmental power, people in power, they're all denoted by sun. Paternal relationships or relations coming even from like the paternal lineage is all to do with the sun. Sorry, hello, hi, can you either you unmute and ask a question, or if you can just mute yourself if you can.
Of course, I'm muting myself. I don't know how to unmute this, to mute this. It's okay?
Who is this?
This is Alex Ocampo.
Alexandro? Okay, there we go. I'm muting you. Okay, is that okay? Yeah. Okay, then we have Kuja. Sorry, where were we? Yeah. And it has also to do with Shiva, the sun. The temples are ruled by Surya. so is it's very masculine. The gold and ruby is its the gems and metals associated with it. I know we saw last time that one of the texts carried the signification that the metals that are ruled by Surya is copper, but gold is also one of them. So uh, I think let's keep an open mind, because different texts are kind of a little bit, I'm not saying divided, but there is a variances in the signification of the metals. So we will revisit it, just park it for the moment. There is probably a tussle between Mars and uh, Sun. So Chandra or Moon is of course, the mother is a significator. Mind, water, emotions, memory, all the sea bath and sea waters are come under the purview of the moon. White color, silver and pearls is definitely moon. Often they say that if you drink from a glass of silver glass um, every day, it's very good for you if you have any kind of moon afflictions, because somehow the water, if left overnight in a glass of silver container, kind of purifies it, and it's your some of the moon issues can be tackled by doing that. Then we come to Kuja, which is Mars, and that's brothers, sisters, siblings, military command, bravery, wounds in on battlefields, sports, courageousness, masculinity. All of that comes under the purview of Mars. The blood red color and red coral. Any affliction with Mars, again, red coral is a go-to option if you can find a really good quality red coral. I think in India, I believe it's like past few years has been banned. So then we come to Buddha, which is to do with speech, Vishnu Puja, teaching, intelligence, communications, green color, and emerald is definitely its a gemstone. Jupiter, Guru, is husband for a woman, and it's the wisdom, it's education, it's wealth, children, the knowledge, everything to do with knowledge, not just of Vedas, but of yagna, priests, sort of like presiding over priestly activities, philosophy, religion, masculinity, yellow color, they're all under the purview of Jupiter. And yellow sapphire, as well as any of the yellow stones. And there is a particular stone called Pukhraj in India, which is a very good, powerful remedy for strengthening of Jupiter. Then comes Venus, which is Shukra, and which is signifying wife for a man. It's romance, luxuries, vehicles, clothes, beauty, poetry, marriage, prosperity, femininity, and fine arts, white color, and of course, diamond is its gemstone. Then Shani is all about selfishness, dangers, accidents, diseases. It oversees this laziness, sort of difficulties, labor. And when we talk of labor, we talk of hard work. We also talk of like slavery, that also comes under the purview of Saturn. We also talk about things like the labor class, the working class would be denoted by Saturn. Fear and fear mongering, all is under purview of Saturn. Lottery, gambling, iron is its metal, and blue sapphire is its stone. It's a brilliant stone. There is a lot of controversy around blue sapphire. And in India, what is readily available, I think the blue sapphires from Thailand and from Ceylon, Sri Lanka, are like exquisite variety. Especially the one from Thailand is like amazing. But please be careful. This is not gemstone remedy. Personally, is my least favorite. It's my like it's not an option I go to first. So it is just something because it's a very tamasic remedy, And especially when we are talking about like gemstones related with the malefic planets, you have to be extremely careful. You have to see at least 2 to 3 other divisional charts, D60 and like D9, and there's lots of things you have to see before making a decision about which gemstone to prescribe. So please don't go around uh, because it may activate, it can be quite dangerous, especially blue sapphire. Rahu's, which is the Rahu's north node of the moon, it's smoky in appearance. Forests and foreign places are its dwelling. Black and shiny black is its color. Hessonite or Gomed is its stone. And then we have Ketu, which is the south node of the moon. And it's very religious, very spiritual. Occultism all fall under the purview of Ketu. And it is also, it's not in here, but Rahu and Ketu often denote widows. Ketu denotes widowhood. So does Rahu. Male widower who's lost his wife is often depicted of Rahu, and Ketu is I think a female who's lost her husband. So that is all falling under Ketu and Rahu. And cat's eye, which is a beautiful stone. Vaiduryamani is one of its stones. But again, I will definitely not recommend it unless you consult somebody who really knows what they are doing. So please, please be aware of gemstone remedies. Then we come to
Could I ask a quick question?
Yes, go on, Mark.
Sorry, just going back to the last slide.
Yes.
Just a little bit unclear about Shani with why is that associated with gambling and lotteries and stuff? I didn't quite get that. What's the reason for that?
Because Shani
is... that's not the Western approach. I just wondered.
Yeah, because Shani is in the Indian sort of context is sort of everything to do with bad habits, our Shadripu, as it call it, our 6 horrible, the 6 cardinal sins, as they call it. The jealousy and the obsessions and the gambling and what are those 6 sins? I forget. Anyway, jealousy is one of them, and then there is this bad habit of gambling. Definitely comes under that. So
right, I see.
So it's connected. So it's connected with the 6th house, which we will come to later. But that is definitely Shani. Everything, all bad habits, everything negative, everything to do with fear, which causes diseases and all, is under Shani's purview.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Then we come to this really interesting next few slides, is that the sun presides over the western half of the Narmada, which is like in India, the west part, and of countries on both banks of the Sona of Orissa. I won't go too much into it, but I'm going to just focus on the highlighted ones, which is, I think, quite important, because these you can read on your own spare time. And if and Google some of these places. They are in Central Asia and India, of course, in the Indian subcontinent. When this was written by Varamira in Brihat Samhita, this was kind of, I think, in terms of borders and all, there was a huge difference. So we won't go there, but China, it's suffice to say that the sun also rules those regions like China, modern day China. And so do feel free to take this and kind of have a look around and Google it and see what, what really regions it entails. It also presides over hillmen, quicksilver, deserts, shepherds, seeds, pod grains, I think it should be food grains, or bitter flavor, trees, gold, fire, poison, person successful in battle over medicines, physicians, quadrupeds. I think when they say quadrupeds, I suspect they mean vehicles which are four-legged and including some of the animals. Farmers, kings, butchers, travelers, thieves, serpents, forests, renowned and cruel men. So they all come under the sun. But we've already seen that sun is also a royal, so it is associated with royalty. Then we come to the moon. It presides over citadels fortified by hills or by water. And again, look into this. The city of Roma, would that be in Rome? I don't know. Like I said, Brahad Samhita was written like years and years ago. So, and the dwellers in forests, the islands of Tangana, Hala, and Stygia in the big seas. So she presides over sweet juice, flowers, fruits, water, salt, gems, conch shells, pearls, creatures of the water, paddy, barley, medicinal plants, wheat, somajis, and kings attacked in the rare, and brahmanas. So this is all the purview of the moon. She also presides over white horses, charming young women, commanders of armies, articles of food, clothes, horned animals, rakshasas, farmers, and shrotiyas. So again, there is a little bit like commanders of armies, but I think what it means is like, generally speaking, moon is signifies, like in a horary chart, in a hora chart, or a prashna chart, when we do, moon often signifies like people at large. So it could also entail commanders of armies. So you have to bear that in mind. It's on a sort of on a broader scale. Then we come to Mars, presides over people residing in the west half of the countries. Again, I'm not going to go too much into that, but suffice to say that Mars is also Melachas, which is of foreign origins and mixed races. He also presides over Virata and the countries bordering on Vindhya mountains, and over the people living on the banks of Tapi and Gomti, which I think is the west part of the Indus Valley, or rather the Indian subcontinent. He presides over citizens, farmers, chemists, firemen, soldiers, forestmen. We can all identify that with Mars. Citadels, chief towns, butchers, sinners, haughty men, kings, children, elephants, fops, infanticides, shepherds, red fruits, red flowers, corals. That's definitely, we've gone through that. Commanders of army, jaggery, wine, cruel men, storehouses, Agnihotris. Agnihotri is a caste in India, and their main job, they are like the fire ritual people. They oversee all the havans, which is like the fire ceremonies and all that. So they preside over they are the priests, the glorious priests presiding over anything to do with fire ceremony. And Agni Hotri, the word Agni is to do with the fire element. So I think the clues in the name. Metal mines, sakyas in red robes, Buddhists, thieves, rogues, vindictive. I know, gluttonous people. I know. It's
No, the Buddhists, I was laughing. They don't like the Buddhists, do they? They put them with the thieves and the rogues.
Yeah, I know.
That would make sense historically.
I know. But bear in mind that this was, it's interesting that Varamira is sort of much later than Parashara and rest of them. So this is kind of gives you a little bit of an idea. I think he's broadened the net a little bit here, but it's still interesting to see. And it's good to know these things, especially when it comes to, kind of making a prediction. And when we've asked a prashna or a horary question, and then these things really come into play. Mercury presides the western half of the Lohitiya River, the Indus, and all of that. We won't go into that, but it does talk about persons possessing a knowledge of the laws of drink. I suspect it's to do with like drinks, including alcohol, of mechanics of music, writing, gems, color, perfumes. Oh yes, and we did see that the Mercury rules the tattva of the earth element. So the the earth element is very vital for like smelling and things like that. And so the perfumes will fall under the purview of Mercury. He also presides over painters, grammarians, mathematicians, physicians, sculptors, spies, jugglers, infants, poets, rogues, black magicians, talebearers, messengers, eunuchs. Again, we saw last time that eunuchs is interesting because Mercury and Saturn, they both are eunuch planets. That is, they don't really have a specific gender. They are neither male nor female. So, so that is, I think it ties up. Buffoons, sorcerers, conjurers, I think even con men and magicians will fall under Mercury. Over bitter flavor, again, this is to be taken with a pinch of salt because Mercury is kind of mixed tastes. Oh, and observers of religious ceremonies, chemists and mules. Then we come to Jupiter, presides over the eastern part of the Indus, western half of Mathura countries. Again, we won't go into that. You can please read. I encourage you to have a look and read in your spare time. Over elephants, horses, priests, rulers, marriages, and all of that under the purview of Jupiter. Vedic students, anything connected with body of ancient knowledge, Vedic and the Vedas, the Vedanta is all Jupiterian purview. The umbrella, flagstaff, and all of that is Jupiter. Then again, quicksilver, salt, bean, sweet flavor, anything sweet is Jupiter. Wax, and I'm not quite sure what is that, but I will have a look. And then Venus, we come to the Venus one. It rules chariots, silver mines, elephants, horses, elephant drivers, rich men, perfumes, again like Mercury, flowers, perfume, paste, gems, diamonds, ornaments, lotus, conch shells, beds, bridegrooms, young men, women, tending to provoke lustful desires. Of course, unlike the Western system, Venus is all about lustiness and all that, including the moon. And sexual desires is also Venus, but not Mars. Mars is a brahmacharya in the ancient Indian sort of associations. So Mars is definitely not associated with sexuality. Please note, all the Western astrologers here, this is a distinct difference between a Western and Vedic view. Then we come to over gardens, waters, anything to do with like water elements and water fountains and all, which lend beauty to places, are all under the purview of Venus. Colored robes, beautiful silks. Oh, silk is definitely, Venus. Yellow leaves and leaves of cinnamon, cocoa, nutmeg, and all of that is all to do with Venus. Then we come to Saturn. It presides over oil. Oil is definitely one of Saturn's territory. Impure men, boatmen, fishermen, ugly men, old men, dealers in hogs, chief of tribes, men of weak resolution, hillmen, barbarous mountain tribes, and over and poor men. So all that is Saturn. Then we come to, he also rules the pungent flavor and bitter flavor. So coffee and all is all, sort of Saturnian products. Widows, serpents, thieves, buffaloes, camels, beans, seeds, and again, species of pulse. So again, that is all Saturn. Then we come to Rahu, which is almost always, whenever you see Rahu in a horary, always assume it is to do with foreign or and breaking the borders. That is like the fundamental rule of Rahu and Ketu. Ketu is about headlessness. It's about, it also, Ketu often also depicts like, army, as in like the soldiers in the army who just take the orders and march on. That's their job. So that it comes under the purview of Ketu. Rahu is also to do with the ungrateful men, men who con, thieves, people who won't tell you the entire truth, unclean, ungenerous, dualists, irritable temperament, infants in the womb, and chandalas. They are like little devils, little demons. And rakshasas, excessive sleepers, all sentient beings and wicked persons. Black gram and gingerly seeds are the purview of Rahu. Often it is said that if you want to get rid of some of the negative effects, the donation of these things will also, if Rahu's afflicting you in the chart, then a donation of these will absolutely help. Rahu in conjunction with Saturn will definitely manage that. Then we come to Ketu, which is also rules China, over rich men, men of industry and valor, coveting others' wives, men prying into the secrets of other men, haughty men, ignorant men, sinners, and people fond of victory. So, so far, any questions? Hello?
When is it 7th century Varahamira's writing? 6th, 7th century, is it so roughly? It's quite old, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very old. I will find out.
I think it's around then.
Yeah, but he was with Varamira, you have to test everything. You cannot take it for face value. So you have to kind of keep these things in mind and then go from there. So I'm just giving you a little bit of a flavor of, Saravali is a much older text and it's a much more respected one. So, I'm just kind of putting it all together, what they all say about everything, but it is good to know is what I'm saying. But the stuff in Brihat Samhita, which is by Varamira, they have sort of the movement, the astronomy. Varamira was predominantly an astronomer. And he was a brilliant astronomer, one of the best. So his knowledge of astronomy is absolutely at par with none. So you see, his talent is not so much astrology as much as astronomy, and the eclipses and things like that, and the movements. So that is absolutely
comets.
Brilliant.
Yeah, talks
Yeah,
about
and
comets.
absolutely brilliant with comets. And there's another thing, signs, reading the signs. I mean, he has some amazing stuff like, you light a candle, and the way the flame, whether it will blow off, what side it's tilting, he can make the prediction for the day. That's all that. And even dreams, his stuff on dreams is absolutely fantastic. So with Varamira, you have to be kind of a little bit aware of what's going on, and test it and not take it for like, not just take it for whatever he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. But it doesn't have another one, the Brihat Jatak, isn't it another one, a foundational one he wrote?
Yeah. Brihat Samhita, and then Brihat Jatak Parijata is also his. No, I'm not sure about Jatak. Yeah, Jatak Parijata is also his, which is 3 volumes, by the way. So, yeah. So,
yeah, I've read some of that, yeah.
Yeah, but Jatak Sorry, Brihat Samhita, and there is one more. It escapes my mind. Brihat Jataka. That's it. Brihat Jataka is Varamiras, but Jataka Parijata is not of Varamiras. But Jatak Parijata is fantastic. It's 3 volumes, and I refer to it all the time. So I would encourage you to have a look. There's another one by Garga Samhita, which is very good, by Sage Garga, Rishi Garga, and that is fantastic too. Now, let's move on.
Sorry, may I ask you a question?
Yes, you can.
I noticed that your planets are the same as in our Western classical astrology. What do you do? What do you make of the transpersonal planets like Pluto and Neptune?
No, forget it. Don't worry about them.
They are not taking into account.
No, they're not being taken into account because they are far too far to have an influence. They are they're just way too far. And in my view, I mean, this is my view, they are fantastic on a collective level, like figuring out the collective cycles and things like that, because there are generations born in a certain like Neptune in Sagittarius or whatever. And so they are brilliant at figuring that out, but on a collective level. But on a personal level, maybe a transit of it may make a little bit of a difference here and there, but no, not really. Sorry. Can we go ahead?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So Saravali has which is a fantastic text. Saravali is absolutely brilliant. It gives great in-depth about all the moon signs and stuff like that. So it's absolutely beautiful. I would recommend Saravali for everyone. So here we are looking at the natural friendship between the planets. The sun's friends are Jupiter, Mars, and Moon. This is very important because this is kind of really a building block here. You have to remember this. Sun's friends are Jupiter, Mars, and Moon. And this is but natural because, Jupiter is like the counselor advisor. Where would the sun be without his advisor? And Mars is his commander in chief. So sun needs the commander in chief, and Moon is the royal queen. It's his feminine counterpart. So of course these are going to be his best friends. Moon's friends are Sun and Mercury. Mercury was, I'm not going to delve into the whole myth of Mercury because he was a child of Moon and Jupiter's wife. So he was an outcome of that, but we won't go into that. So leave that for the moment. Moon's friends are Sun and Mercury, and Sun, Moon, and Jupiter are likewise, vice versa, are friendly to Mars. Now, here's the crunch. Venus and Sun also are Mercury's friends, but Sun, Moon, and Mars are also friendly and disposed to Jupiter. So that works both ways. But there is a big caveat. Sun's enemies are Venus and Saturn. And there is a big reason for it. Saturn is for those of you who were in the Nakshatra workshop yesterday, I explained like the Sun-Saturn dichotomy. Sun is the father, Surya is the father of Shani. And they don't see they are not able to understand each other. Their whole energy is opposite to each other. Sun is like this effulgent, great, beautiful, bright, everything about the sun is bright, and everything, and that's exactly opposite to Saturn. So there's no brainer there. And Venus is like a guru in her own right. So Venus is going to be an enemy of the sun. Sun and Venus don't get on at all, because their whole significations are completely different. Then we come to the moon. Moon also has no enemies. I mean, Moon is probably the only one who has no enemies. um, Bear that in mind. So for example, if you're Cancer rising, you know, by and large, you won't have any problem getting on well with anyone, you know.
But
But
why does it say Saturn is an enemy of the moon then?
Because Saturn sees the moon as too emotional, too overly mothering, too this, too that, you know, and Saturn doesn't like that. So
So
that is
it's
why.
not a mutual enemy, it's a one-sided enemy then.
Absolutely. You have to
Right.
be very careful with that, because bear in mind, like Mercury and Mars. Mercury doesn't like Mars, but Mars doesn't care about Mercury. No, Mars is all right with it. It's like the commander in chief and the
Thanks.
prince, you know. Mars' job is to kind of keep a safe distance from Mars. Mars is, as a commander in chief, is to keep his distance from Mercury, who's the prince. So he is going to be overseeing him and kind of making sure everything is okay. So, but he's not going to engage too much. But Mercury is highly inimical to Mars. He doesn't like it. And if you have a Mercury Mars conjunction, there is almost always Mercury will be the winner here, in spite of Mars being like the big commander and the big fighter. Mercury will beat him. And Moon is Mercury's enemy. Again, Mercury doesn't like the Moon because he finds it too emotional. Mercury is an intellectual, wants to play, doesn't care about security, you know, and all that. And while Moon is, so Mercury just doesn't like the way Moon is. And Venus and Mercury are enemies of Jupiter. Now, again, this is quite obvious because the counselor, the great person who's got great wisdom, you know, is Jupiter. And Mercury is like wants to play, you know, it wants to go out, have fun, you know, sports and grounds, and, you know, wants to learn a little bit, but not much. So it's like he finds Jupiter overbearing and, you know, almost like talking down to him. And Venus and Jupiter are two great gurus in themselves, but their significations are totally different. Jupiter is all about being righteous, about, you know, being on the right path, and, you know, the knowledge of the Vedas, and, you know, all of that. But Venus, Shukracharya, who's the guru of Venus, I mean, Shukracharya is a guru by himself, you know, in his own right. And what Shukracharya can do, Jupiter cannot do. But equally, in the war between Shukracharya and Brihaspati, ultimately Brihaspati won. So again, that's why they have a little bit of an iffy thing, you know, a relationship. Then we come to Saturn's enemies are obvious, that Sun, Moon, and Mars. That is definitely, you know, the signification of Saturn and Mars is like totally at loggerheads with each other. And if a planet is neither a friend nor an enemy of another one, there exists neutrality between them. So from Mars' point of view, he's neutral to Saturn. Yeah. So you have to bear this in mind. I will make a table, and, you know, it'll be much, as we go along, it'll get much more clearer. Then we come to the, any questions so far? Hello? Hello?
No, but the table would be handy. That'd be great.
Yeah, I will do the table. Now, here now we come to the great sun signs. I would like you all through this, at the end of this, to be able to at least identify your Vedic sun sign, you know, and I will come to the Adityas. Dvadasa Aditya is a very, very important concept in Vedic, you know. And basically the 12 zodiac signs, they are all, they are nothing but the Rashis. They are called the Rashis. And we all know that the average motion of the sun is about 1 degree per day. And in 30 days, the sun would have moved 30 degrees, which is equivalent to a sign. And so the sun and has a great sort of to go around the entire zodiac. He takes a whole year. We all know the basics. So Parashara here defines all the signs and the names. Again, I would be very, very insistent that you know the names of the Rashis. It is absolutely vital. So the names, there are two things you've got to know, no matter what. One is the name of the Grahas, Surya, Chandra or Soma, Mangal, which is Mars, Buddha, which is Mercury, Jupiter, which is Guru, Brihaspati. They are all the names of Jupiter. And Venus is Shukra, Saturn is Shani, Rahu is, of course, Rahu and Ketu. Yeah, you all know that. Now, these are the signs. The symbolism more or less remains the same as in with Western, so no worries about on that front. But the stories and each of the sign, who rules it, and there is a particular deity. They are called the Dvadasha. They are called the Devata are called the Dvadasa Adityas. Dvadasha in Sanskrit means 12. So they are the overseer. Each Aditya rules a sign. And if you want all the knowledge associated with your Vedic sun sign, there is only one Aditya you need to appease and bear in mind, have a picture of him, and that will absolutely bring you a lot of peace to the soul, because you would have fulfilled a very karmically a very important thing, living your sun sign, your Vedic sun sign, because that is your soul. And so I would encourage you to really dive in, because next two sessions, this session and next week, we are just going to do the Dvadasha Aditya and the chart, the various kinds of charts, and I will come to that. So here, Parashara uses the names for the 12 Rashis: Mesha, which is Aries; Vrishabha, which is Taurus; Mithuna, which is Gemini; Karka or Karkata, which is Cancer; Simha, which is Leo; Kumari or Kanya, which is Virgo; Tula or Libra; Ali or Vrishchika, which is to do with Scorpio; and Dhanus, or which is Sagittarius; Nakra or Makara, which is, sorry, there's a misprint there, Nakra or Makara, which is to do with Capricorn; Kumbha is Aquarius; and Meena is Pisces. So here we go. Jatak Parijata also has the similar names, but they've given even more extra names. Don't worry about that. I've highlighted the ones which you absolutely have to know. Mesha, Vrishabha for Taurus again, Mithuna, Karka or Karkata, Simha, Kanya is Virgo, Tula is Libra, 8 is Scorpio, which is Vrishchika or Ali, and Dhanu is 9th. 10th one is Makara or Nakra, and the mantras also come like this. Kumbha is 11th and 12th is Meena. I would encourage all of you to do one thing. Absolutely, you need to know the numbering as well, the sequence. So when I say like, oh, 7th, then 7 is Tula, which is to do with it's Libra. Okay, is everybody okay with that? Okay.
I am.
Yeah, okay, I'm assuming it's okay. So, okay, the word Samvatsara is nothing but means one solar year, and it specifically means and it has associations with Dvadasa Aditya, because it, remember it, the sun obviously takes to cover the 12 signs about a year. Again, you can read about this. I don't want to go delve too much into it. A pair of fish is the imagination of Pisces. Sagittarius is compared to a man having a hip like that of a horse and holding an arch in his hands. Deer face sign is Capricorn. I'm going to put it on, the Facebook group, as well as because Capricorn has a little bit of a different significations, because the vehicle or the symbolism of Capricorn is like a deep sea, like a crocodile, but it's a very celestial crocodile. It's called the Makara. And the sign is called Nakra. Now, Makara in the ancient, it's like a vehicle for Mahavishnu, Mahalakshmi. And Makara has a great significance, because it's kind of depicts, it's found near, like in swamps, where there's water and land, and horrible swampy, sandy, where you just go sink completely in. And that is the symbolism of Capricorn. And often, why would Mahalakshmi and even the it has associations with Ganges, the river Ganges? Why would you associate that this kind of a horrible creature? It's got scales, and there's a lot of mythology to it, but it's a very revered animal, extremely revered, but yet its associations are diabolic. I think the Western equivalent will be a gargoyle. Gargoyles. Anybody familiar with the concept of gargoyles? I'm assuming everyone's okay with that. So anyway, Virgo resembles a virgin sitting in a boat with a lamp in her hands. She's super pristine, hair all perfect and everything. So there's a sense of perfection already inbuilt in the sign of Virgo. A male holding scales in his hand represents Libra, and other signs are identical with their names. This is in Saravali. So again, I would encourage you to read. What's interesting is Gemini is compared to a couple holding a veena. Veena is a musical instrument, and mace. That means it's simply means, and it's kind of speaks volumes about the sign Mithuna. Mithuna Bhava is like a copulating couple. That is a signification of Mithuna, which is Gemini in the Vedic perspective. Copulation, the third house has associations with copulation, and that's why it's talked about the veena, which is to do with music and learning, and mace, which is kind of like a instrument, like a heavy, like a huge big dirty instrument. And why would that be so? I think it shows the duality of Gemini, Mithuna Bhava. So that means that you have both significations, that there's the bare bones, like they're always wandering, wanting to copulate. That is the whole signification of that Gemini or Mithuna from a Vedic perspective. Now, again, these are the zodiacal ones. Please have a look, through the recording, and ensure that you remember it. Lot of the mantras, if you're having an afflicted sign, let's say you have 3 malefics sitting in, let's say, Kanya, okay? The best mantra would be Hom Kanyai Namaha. That is the beautiful mantra, and you will have respite. So there is this. That's why it is important to know the Vedic Sanskrit names, because they are extremely important. So, and see, similarly, if you have like problems with Aries, like you have like 4 planets in Aries, then you say Hom Meshai Namaha. And similarly, you know, this generation that is born in 1962, if somebody is aware of it, in February 1962, end of January and early February 1962, there were these people born, and I've got loads of friends who are, and they had all their, you know, planets, literally everything practically in the sign of Capricorn, sidereal Capricorn. And so often the mantra, when you have problems and circumstances like this, you often say Hom Nakrai Namaha. You know, if we go through the significations here, the number 10 sign is Nakra or Makara. So I would encourage you to use the Vedic name Nakra, which is far more superior to Makara. So far, so good, guys? Okay, I'm assuming. So again,
Very good.
yeah.
Very good, yeah.
Okay, so the Dvadasa Adityas, they are called Aditya as they are distributors of food and all materials required for creation and sustenance on our life on earth. Exhilaration, sexual vitality, vigor, you know, all of that will come under the purview of the Adityas. Each sign has a specific Aditya associated with it. And I'm going to quickly show you which, we'll come back to this, but I'm going to show you the each of these Adityas and why they are very important. Next time, next week, we will do the mantras, and we will have quickly have a look at the charts as well. In depth. So here are the 12 Dvadasha Adityas, or the 12 Adityas. So for Aries, you know, here it is. For Aries, this is Dhata Aditya. And each of these Adityas, I will go in depth next week, that what they give, what is the signification. So please, the homework for next week is this: find out your Aditya, you know, your Vedic sun sign. I need them. Which house your sun is in by the Indian sidereal zodiac, and what sign it is in, and that's it. And then we will discuss, because this is very important, because each of these Adityas bring a certain flavor to your life. You have a certain power that you can achieve through the agency of these Adityas. So Mesha or Aries has a Dhata as its Aditya. Aryaman is for Taurus. Mitra Aditya is like a friend, which is Gemini. For Aruna, Aditya, or Varuna, it's also another name is Varuna, is for Cancer. Indra Aditya is Leo. Viviswan is for Kanya or Virgo. Pusha is for Pushan is for Libra. And for Scorpio, Ali is for Parjanya. Anshuman is for Sagittarius. Sun sign Capricorn is for Bhaga Aditya is for Capricorn, and Aquarius is Twashta, and Vishnu Aditya is for Meena or Pisces. Now, here's the little interesting thing. Why did I say that you need to find out your Vedic, which house your Vedic sun is in? Because the way the Vedic sun sign will work is not just what sign it is in, but it will also have the flavor of the house it is in. So for example, if you have, let's say, sun in Scorpio, so not only will you have Parjanya as your Aditya, but for example, if your sun is in third house in Scorpio, then you will also have the signification of Mitra Aditya, because the third house has got Mitra, Gemini is the house of Gemini. So you have two Adityas to work with who will give you the riches and whatever you want. So far, so good?
Can I just ask about the house system? When you say houses, what house system are you talking about? Whole sign, Sripati?
Yes, here it is. Yes, whole sign, equal house systems. Okay, as of now, we will stick with that. This is the 3 different charts. Remember, I introduced last time 3 different charts here. This is the North Indian chart. Okay, this is how it works. This is a circle chart, and here it all begins and goes into the anti-clockwise direction. So Mesha, for example, if your Aries rising, it will begin here. Now there is a little bit of a kind of a difference. This is a Surya chakra, but we do not write, we just write like AS. So whichever, so if you're Scorpio rising, we write AS over here because that is Scorpio. Here, let me show you. This is the way we do it. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Here usually we don't even have these. This is the houses. One first house for South Indian chart or the Jupiter chart, we always begin, the Aries is always from this square. And that is the first house. Okay. That is if you're Aries rising, that is the AS here. If you're not Aries rising, then we put AS. For example, if you're Virgo rising, you will put AS here. And then your houses will begin from here. And then your count for houses begins like that. So, and it will go in a clockwise direction. Okay. So this is very different to the North Indian chart where you begin, it's North Indian chart is a lot similar to the circle charts in Western, where you write according to, you keep, it's a moving zodiac. But the South Indian chart and the Surya chart is not a moving zodiac. It doesn't move. The houses remain, the signs are fixed. Aries is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and what moves is only the ascendant. Okay.
The round picture is identical to the classical Western system.
Yes,
The
I've put it.
Hellenistic.
Except that the ascendant's not at the top on the Western chart, it's on the eastern horizon.
Isn't, you're right, where Aries starts.
Yeah. So essentially what I'm trying to tell you is that there are 2 ways or 3 ways of doing the chart. Now, I would like you guys to figure out which is the most comfortable. Of course, in my view,
North Indian.
the Surya chakra or even the this one is one of the better ones to do. But you guys, because you are coming from the Western tradition, the moving zodiac, this one will be far more comfortable for you guys. Shall we do an example?
Yep, please.
Okay. Let me just stop the share and go to my software. Let me open the software and then we can get some ideas about it. Because this is like, I think it's time we kind of had a look at all the, this is a software, Sri Jyoti Star. I think I mentioned that already. So the 3 different charts are basically one, the Surya chakra, which is the sun, and the other one is Venus one. Who's going first? Can somebody give me the details?
23rd of April, 1955.
Who's this?
Joe.
Okay. Joe. Okay, go on. 23rd
3rd of April, 1955.
What time?
2:15 in the morning.
What place?
West Sussex.
Can I just put Sussex or?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a place?
That's the county. Is that okay? Or do you want the town?
Oh
The town.
God. What's the town?
East Grinstead. East, and then Grinstead. Grin.
Okay. Okay. Hang on. Okay, East East Church, East.
No, Grinstead. Grin.
Is it
S-
2 words or 1 word?
Grinstead is one word.
Oh, Grimstead. Yes, got it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, let's take a simpler where there's not much of calculations here. Okay, here we go. Oops.
Okay.
Oh dear. Okay, let me just. Okay. Okay. One sec. Just need to get rid of everything. Too much stuff. Please bear with me, guys. Okay. Okay, there we are now. MN. Okay. Can everybody see this?
No.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, D1. I beg your pardon. Oh my God. Let's, sorry, I just, share screen. Okay, can everybody see this now?
Now,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so here we are. Can everybody first, this is a 2 different style chart, right? Let me just, charts. Okay, there we go. Can everybody see it now?
I
Yeah.
do.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So can you see that this is all Aries? The first house is Aries. There is a sun, moon, Mercury in Aries. And then it goes clockwise, anti-clockwise. And her ascendant is Sagittarius. So that's why there is AS there. Now, this is the Northeast Indian chart, or they call it the Surya chart, that is a sun chart, which is one of the great recommendations. But this is another style chart. This is much more closer to the Western one, where I'm hovering my mouse here on the right hand side. This is much closer to the medieval Western sort of way of looking at a chart, where we put the it's a moving ascendant. What that means is that we always begin here, the central diamond here, and that is the ascendant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we count the planets, the houses from there on, the whole houses, equal houses. So the first house, second house, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Yes. And don't get daunted by the numbers, the 9, 10, 11, 12, they are the signs. Okay. So this is Sagittarius ascendant. So Sagittarius is 9, 10th, second house is Capricorn, 11 is Kumbha or, Aquarius, 12th Pisces is Pisces. But these are the central squares, and they are the four, first house, fourth house, seventh house, and 12th, 10th house.
So now,
Yeah.
is that just this particular software? Do all the North Indian charts number them like that?
Yes, more or less. Why is that? What do you mean they all?
Obviously, I'd have preferred a 1 on the ascendant to count the houses. Obviously, be easier.
How do you mean? Sorry, I don't understand.
Well, it's got number 9 by the ascendant, and then obviously we're used to the Western tradition where the first house is numbered 1, and obviously it's got a 9.
I think the 9 is Sagittarius. It's the sign,
Yes,
not the house.
thank you.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying, obviously you've got to think around. You've got to count around the houses with the numbers not relating to the house numbers.
Yeah, but Mark, it will come as second nature. You don't even have to think. All you have to do is look at the number 9. It's Sagittarius, and then we get. It's like getting used to of the circle chart. Whether anybody puts any numbers or whatever, it doesn't matter, because automatically that the 10th house is right on top of the circle. Do you see that?
No, isn't the first house is on top, right?
It's a bit confusing, of course. She's got Rahu and Ketu on her ascendant. Oh.
Yes. So don't get daunted by it. Like I said, this is you will have to bite the bullet, because I know it is coming from a Western one, but believe you me that once you get the hang of this, it's not going to be difficult at all. And it is that initial learning curve, but once you get it, it'll be easy peasy. So for example, Joe, this is your rising sign, right? Sagittarius. That's your first house. You've got Rahu there. Your second house is empty. That's Capricorn. Third house is Aquarius. Your fourth house is Venus, an exalted Venus. That's beautiful. Fifth house is Sun and Moon there with Mercury in Aries. Sixth house is Mars in Taurus. Seventh house is Jupiter and Ketu, the south node of the moon. So that's in the 7th house, because they are always opposite to each other. AS is ascendant. 8th house is Cancer. 9th house is Leo. 10th house, midheaven, is Virgo. Exalted Saturn, retrograde, because there's a line underneath, is in Libra. Obviously, it's exalted Saturn. And the 12th house is Scorpio. That's your 12th house. And the same thing here, but here there is a crucial difference, because here you're going, hello? Yeah?
Yeah.
Go on. Here, the Surya, I think, Joe, you will prefer the Surya chakra, because you've got an exalted sun. People who have very strong fire, they prefer the Surya chakra. So here the ascendant is Sagittarius. It is always Sagittarius here. This placement is always Sagittarius, because the houses begin from here, Aries. It's permanent. You can't move it. The only thing that moves is the AS here. So if she was Capricorn rising, the AS would have been here, you know? So first house, so her first house is Sagittarius, second house Capricorn, third house Aquarius, fourth house Venus in Pisces. Then fifth house is Sun, Moon, and Mercury in Aries. Sixth house is Mars in Taurus. This is always Taurus. Gemini, Jupiter, and Ketu in Gemini. And then,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
what's the next house? Which house is this, guys?
The eight. The eight.
Yes, very good. And what is it? What
Thank
sign
you.
would this be?
Scorpio. Scorpio.
No,
Oh, okay.
Cancer, right?
Yes.
So that's your eighth house.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Because for a Sagittarius rising, bear in mind, we are taking whole sign, whole house system, equal sign, whole house systems as of now. Okay. We are not varying it like, oh my God, there is, she's 23 degrees Sagittarius. So each of the houses will be 23 Sagittarius to 23 Capricorn. That is a very slightly advanced system. So we won't go into that. That's totally, we always come back to this. This is our basics. Yeah.
And just to clarify, they don't use glyphs in this tradition. Then they don't use the sign glyphs.
Okay. I'll make it easier for you guys. Let's not shock you guys into it. Okay. Is this better?
No, I didn't mean the planets. I just meant the.
No, we don't
signs.
use. No, it's not a tradition to use glyphs. No.
For the signs.
Yes, we use the sun, as I mentioned, we use the sun, moon, and that kind of thing. But you guys are welcome to use thing. Is it that difficult though? Let's see. Is it that difficult if I don't?
It's cruder than a circular chart.
Sun, Moon, Mercury, Mars, Ketu, Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, Venus.
I can work with the one on the left, I think. Yeah, easier.
Is it easier? Listen, guys, I'll tell you one thing. It doesn't matter. Just do what is most comfortable with you. This is a medieval technique, a chart. So you guys will be most comfortable with this. Anyway, guys, we have to end for today. I have to give you guys a homework now. Okay? You have to come with your charts, with your preferred system next week. And I want to know who's your Aditya, who's your Surya Aditya, your Vedic sun sign Aditya, who will give you all the riches you want. I want that is your homework. And I want every single person to do this. Please.
Is that the sign or the deity? The deity. Do we need the deity as well?
No, I just want, I want the deity. I want, hang on. Let me just, one sec. Let me just go to the, here we go.
That's both the sign and the house deity.
Yeah, can anybody see this?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Okay, let me just quickly, we have to, this is what I'm looking for, okay? Can everybody see this? Please take a picture. We have a class now for the Lodge of London. We have, who's speaking? We have Jill Doran speaking and Wanda Sellers speaking. The next, so please, if anyone's interested, yes, go ahead. Everybody's taken a picture, so everybody understands this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So next time, please, if you guys next week bring in your chart, You know, I forget even about the chart. I just want the Vedic sun sign and who's your Aditya. I want it worked out. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Sanal.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Oh,
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
bye.
Happy Navaratri.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.